Mark gave Rob 4 cryptic puzzles. Rob had to solve the 4 cryptic puzzles before the time ran out. Each puzzle was a clue to the identity and location of the next VIP target. If Rob failed to solve any puzzle, Mark would kill the VIP and send him a photo of their corpse. If Rob solved all the puzzles, Mark would reveal his whereabouts and challenge him to a final confrontation. Rob felt a surge of adrenaline and curiosity. He knew that Mark was not playing fair. He knew that he had rigged the game in his favor. He knew that Mark had an advantage over him, since he had access to his phone and could track his movements. He knew that he had to be careful and smart. He knew that he had to find him before he started killing again. He looked at his phone and saw that he had received the first puzzle from Mark. It read, "I am the beginning of everything and the end of everywhere. I am the beginning of eternity and the end of time and space. What am I?" Rob thought for a moment and typed back, "E." He waited for a response, but none came. He checked the time. It was 12:15 a.m. He had less than 5 hours left. He looked at his phone again and saw that he had received the second puzzle from Mark. It read, "I have keys but no locks and space but no rooms. You can enter but can't go outside. What am I?" Rob thought for another moment and typed back, "Keyboard." He waited for a response, but none came. He checked the time. It was 12:45 a.m. He had less than 4.5 hours left. He looked at his phone again and saw that he had received the third puzzle from Mark. It read, "This belongs to you, but everyone else uses it." Rob thought for a longer moment and typed back, "Name." He waited for a response, but none came. He checked the time. It was 1:15 a.m. He had less than 4 hours left. He looked at his phone again and saw that he had received the fourth puzzle from Mark. It read, "What can travel around the world while staying in one spot?" Rob thought for an even longer moment and typed back, "Stamp." He waited for a response, but none came. He checked the time. It was 1:45 a.m. He had less than 3.5 hours left. He looked at his phone again and saw that he had received a message from Mark. It read, "Congratulations, Rob. You have solved all my puzzles. You are smarter than I thought. But are you brave enough to face me? I am waiting for you at Stardust Skies Park. You know where it is. Come alone, or I will kill another VIP." Rob felt a chill run down his spine as he realized where Mark was hiding. He decided to call his new partner, Detective Sarah Collins, who had been his confidant and support through the darkest times of his career. Sarah and Rob arrived at the Stardust Skies Park, and it was also the scene of Eric Rogan's murder. Sarah's face a mask of determination. "Rob, we need to figure this out quickly. The lives of those VIPs depend on it. We need to catch Mark," she said, her voice steady. As they worked together, Rob couldn't shake the feeling that something was off. Sarah seemed unusually tense, and there were moments when she avoided his gaze. But he dismissed his doubts, focusing instead on the task at hand. They found a small letter with the locations of the 4 VIPs written. Hours passed, and they managed to save 2 of the VIPs, but time was running out. Rob and Sarah split up to cover more ground. Rob headed to the location of the third VIP, a prominent politician, while Sarah went to the fourth. Rob arrived just in time to prevent the third murder, but his relief was short-lived. He received a call from Sarah, her voice frantic. "Rob, I found the last VIP, but Mark is here. I need backup." Rob's heart pounded like a war drum as he raced to Sarah's location. The air was thick with tension, and every second felt like an eternity. When he arrived, his breath caught in his throat. Sarah stood over the lifeless body of the fourth and final VIP, her hands trembling. Mark Anthony was nowhere to be seen. "Sarah, what happened?" Rob demanded, his voice a mix of fear and anger. Sarah's facade crumbled, tears streaming down her face. "I'm sorry, Rob. Mark approached me months ago. He knew about my financial troubles, my desperation. He promised me money, a way out. I never thought it would go this far. I never wanted anyone to die." In a flash, Sarah pulled a gun, her hands shaking. But Rob was faster. He fired, the bullet striking her hands, causing her to drop the weapon with a cry of pain. Rob felt a storm of emotions: rage, sorrow, betrayal. "You betrayed me, Sarah. You betrayed all those innocent people." Sarah fell to her knees, sobbing uncontrollably. "I know, Rob. I know. I was weak. I was stupid. But I never wanted this. I never wanted to hurt you." Rob's heart ached as he looked at her, the woman he once trusted with his life. "It's too late, Sarah. The damage is done." Rob's heart ached with the weight of her betrayal. He knew he had to arrest her, but he also knew that Mark was still out there, planning his next move. "Tell me, where's Mark?" shouted Rob. Sarah gave him the location where Mark was hiding. There was hatred inside of Rob. "Sarah, you're under arrest," he said, his voice hollow. He started the car and drove away, hoping to end this nightmare once and for all. He reached the place where Sarah said Mark would be, an abandoned warehouse on the outskirts of town. He parked his car outside and entered cautiously, holding his gun in front of him. He saw Mark sitting on a chair in the middle of the room, surrounded by monitors and wires. "Hello, Rob," Mark said with a smirk. "Hello, Mark," Rob said coldly. "I'm glad you made it on time," Mark said. "Cut the crap, Mark," Rob said. "What's wrong, Rob? Don't you want to play with me?" Mark asked. "I'm not here to play, Mark," Rob said. "Then why are you here?" Mark asked. "To stop you," Rob said. "Stop me from what?" Mark asked. "From killing anyone else," Rob said. "Too late for that," Mark said. "What do you mean?" Rob asked. "I mean that you have failed, Rob," Mark said. "Failed what?" Rob asked. "Failed to save the society," Mark said. "What are you talking about?" Rob asked. "I'm talking about the fact that you have been solving the wrong puzzles, Rob," Mark said. "What?" Rob asked. "That's right, Rob. The puzzles I sent you were not clues to the VIPs. They were clues to the locations of bombs I planted around the city. Each time you solved a puzzle, you activated a bomb. Each time you failed to solve a puzzle within the time allocated, you deactivated a bomb. You have solved all 4 puzzles, Rob. You have detonated all 4 bombs, Rob. You have killed hundreds of thousands of innocent people, Rob. Rob felt a shock of horror and disbelief as he realized what Mark had done. No, that can't be true, Rob stammered. Oh, but it is, Rob, Mark said. Why would you do this? Rob asked. Because I wanted to show you how stupid and useless your law and order is. I also wanted to show the world that your system only protects the strong and ignores the poor and weak people, Mark said. You're insane, Mark, Rob said. Maybe I am, Rob. But I'm also smarter than you, Rob. And I'm also alive, Rob. Unlike you, Mark said. What do you mean? Rob asked. I mean that this is the end of the game, Rob. And the end of your life, Rob, Mark said. He pressed a button on his remote control and smiled wickedly. Rob heard a loud beep and saw a red light flashing on his phone. He looked at his phone and saw that he had received a final message from Mark. It read, "Goodbye, Rob." Rob felt a blast of heat and pain as something exploded very close to his body. He screamed and fell to the ground, bleeding and burning. Mark laughed and clapped his hands. He stood up and walked towards the exit, leaving behind the corpse of his nemesis. He had won the game. He had won everything.